Okay, the seat crack in this 550K. I'm going to repair it because I was thinking about it, and a seat pan can always be recovered and refoamed, but if the pan itself is in bad shape with a crack, then unless you fix it, you're really starting out with nothing. So I'm going to fix this crack, and so it'll never crack again. And I wanted to show why it cracked in the first place. So this is the front of the seat, and here's where the hinge mounts. And so what happened is the seat, when it's open, it stops at about a 90-degree angle, and someone pushed on this, and when they pushed on the seat here, it caused this thing to go, this flange to go into tension, and this little piece of, this little ligament of steel is what had to take the brunt of that, and so it popped out. This is a particularly weak point, and then it cracked all the way down to this radius. So what I'm going to do is clean this up and weld this back up. So while I'm here, we might take a look. Let's see, the foam is in. Foam, this is where your leg goes. There's a little deterioration of the foam, but this looks pretty good compared to some seats. Here's a little water ingress that came through the hand strap. So how am I going to protect this? How am I going to keep this foam from burning? Well, what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of methods. I've got my handy dandy copper heat sink, and I have this MIG welding heat shield. So what I'm going to do to prevent burning is I'm going to put this heat shield in here, and then I'm going to take my copper heat sink and put it right there. And so what's going to happen is that when I apply the torch, this, I think an Oxy-Acetylene torch is the best way to do this, what's going to happen is that the heat will go into this copper heat sink, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it can suck up a lot of heat, and then this aluminum foil is kind of an asbestos fiber that should prevent the rest of it from getting at the polyurethane foam. Anyway, that's the theory, and we're going to weld this thing up good as new. I'm going to guarantee that this thing never cracks unless it's abused. If you abuse it, then you destroy anything if you abuse it. Okay, I'm going to start cleaning it up, getting it ready to weld. Okay, I've got my copper heat sink with a pony clamp to the sheet, and then I've got my MIG welder's mitt heat guard underneath that, which goes underneath the radius of the pan. And I'm not going to stop drill that because I don't see a need to it. The cracks stop right there because all the tension is carried in this flange, and the real critical part is right here. You can see I've got a little gap there, but I'm going to fill that up with some MIG wire, and it should work out fine. We'll see. Okay, so I got it welded. Got a lot of reinforcement right there on the edge. That I filled in some of, you can see these little cutouts for the seat holders. Honda just punched them out of the seat pan. So I filled up the bottom of it to get rid of that stress riser and I've got a lot of buildup here. In fact, I'm going to have to grind off a little bit of that so that the seat edge rubber can fit over the top of it. I could actually force it over that, but I don't want to. So next step is to look at the other side, see how good the penetration is. Penetration is probably, I suspect, is pretty good, and this is as strong as the day it was made. Okay, well, I didn't want to burn this. I didn't want to burn the foam, and I didn't. So here's the back side of the weld. I didn't get 100% penetration, but that's kind of a dangerous thing to do when you're trying not to burn this foam. But I got good penetration. Here's where I filled up a portion of the cutout. So I'm going to hit this with a file and then put some little paint on here for rust prevention, and I'll call it good. It should never crack again if it's not abused. I was thinking about welding some reinforcement, a reinforcement patch on the other on this side, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't want to weld it from this side, because then we're tempting fate in burning this foam, and I think that's going to be just fine. Okay.
What's going on?
I cleaned up that weld buildup on the edge there, just so I could get the rubber edge guard on it, and I'm leaving this the way it is. And so now I'm going to hit it with some Rust-Oleum here on the edge for some little corrosion protection. As long as I'm in here, might as well do it. And I'm gonna spray a little black gloss Rust-Oleum on this, not to hide it, but because I'm already in here. Okay, paint's been drying for about 8 hours now. I put another coat on it, hit it with some Scotch-Brite and another coat of paint. So I'm satisfied. I think it's about 99% what it was from the factory. It's hard to get a good shot on it, but as I said before, my opinion. Okay, there's hard to see that. There's the back side of it. Now, this upper thing, I got 100% penetration on that. As you saw, there was a gap between these two parts. So that's 100% penetration. And that's the portion that takes most of the stress. So that's not going to be a problem. And there's no burning to the foam. Foam's in pretty nice condition considering how old it is. This would make an excellent base when you want to put a new cover on it. So, yeah, that's probably shows a little bit better. Okay, so when I get the cover back on, all you're gonna even see of this is the very bottom of that. And I got a keyhole at the bottom of that crack too. So that's just like stop drilling it. When the keyhole opened, I filled it with filler rod, and so that's tantamount to putting a stop drill there. So that is a structurally sound repair. Okay, got the seat cover back on, and here is the repair area. Hard to tell because it's painted gloss black, but there's the weld right there. I should probably mention that the little talons that hold the seat cover on in the front, this little piece is torn, so if you wanted to sew that back up, it would hook back up over that clamp, but it's not going anywhere. The main thing is that you've got a structurally sound seat with nice foam that will easily support putting on a nice new seat cover when this one wears out. And frankly, this one isn't going to wear out for a while yet. That's the gouge that I've shown in the pictures. You can catch it with a fingernail here, but it's actually pretty minor. Okay. Any questions, let me know.